Well, I'm proud of you. I am. Keep it up.
Okay, running a little late, but we're here. Okay, ready to roll, gang? Okay, we're going to call to order our June 24th, 2013 City Council meeting. If you'll stand for Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. 2 items on the consent docket. Does anyone wish to remove an item off the consent docket?
I move approval of the consent docket. Second.
Motion is second on the consent docket. And that passes 5-0. Takes us down to resolutions. Resolution 2013-10, support of housing tax credit.
I'd like to report on that. Again, that's the project up on Virginia we've talked about earlier. Senior housing project does meet the qualifications for federal tax credits to encourage senior housing. One of the requirements of the program is a resolution of support from the City Council. The project does meet everything thus far. They do have the proper zoning now, and see no reason. It does not make any commitments of the city, no financial commitments. It's simply basically blessing the project and resolution.
The concept of the project.
Yes.
No specifics on the project.
No specific, just the concept of the project.
Construction was got it. All right, any other questions on this resolution?
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the resolution. And that passes 5-0. That'll take us down to ordinances. We have 3 ordinances on first reading. First ordinance is 3233. Mr. Dorman.
An ordinance rezoning attractive land located at 819 South Perkins Road from RSS Small Lot Single Family Residential District to CG Commercial General District.
Any questions on this ordinance?
I'd make a motion to approve.
One second.
Motion is second on 3233. Passes 5-0. And then we have ordinance 3234 also on first reading.
An ordinance rezoning attractive land located at 919 East 9th Avenue from P Public District to A Agriculture District.
Motion on this ordinance?
I would move approval.
Second.
Passes 5-0. And then ordinance 3235.
An ordinance rezoning attractive land located at 498 South Mockingbird Lane from RSS Small Lot Single Family Residential District to RT Residential 2-Family District and RTM 2-Family and Multifamily District.
A motion on 3235.
Move approval. Second.
Motion is second on 3235. That passes 5-0. That takes us down to ordinance 3232 on second reading.
An ordinance closing a portion of right-of-way of Henderson Street at property addressed as 400 South Drury Lane.
Motion on 3232.
I would
Move
move
to
approval.
approve.
She
Second.
got it. Second.
Motion and a second.
Got it.
That passes 5-0. Okay, anything, Mr. Dorman, anything miscellaneous items?
Nothing to report tonight, sir.
Mr. Galloway?
Nothing other to report other than July 1st, next Monday would normally be a regular council meeting, but we moved all the items to this evening, and so that meeting will be canceled. Next meeting will be July 15th.
Thank you. Anything from counselors?
Boomer Blast is coming up.
More relax next week. That's right.
Be careful in the heat.
Careful in the heat. Anybody else have anything else?
I don't have any.
Only things I have is the radio show with Bill Van Ness scheduled for Tuesday mornings. We do not have that tomorrow, but I will be on Triple Play tomorrow at 7 o'clock to be talking about this meeting. But the Bill Van Ness show is not happening tomorrow for council. Okay. Anything for upcoming meetings? Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn City Council?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion a second to adjourn the council meeting. Passes 5-0. We are adjourned, and then we will call to order the Stillwater Utility Authorities meeting for June 24th, 2013. Consent docket. 4 items on the consent docket. Somebody wish to remove items A, B, C, or D off the consent docket?
Not at this time, Mayor, I would move approval.
Second.
Motion second to approve consent docket. And consent docket is approved 5-0. Takes us down to general orders. Amendment to the professional services agreement, Perkins Road Booster Pump Station.
Good afternoon, Mayor, trustees, Eric Clay, Water Utilities. As you're very aware of this project, we've been moving forward with design and have gotten to that point where we had it out for bid. So this evening, I'm requesting your approval to execute an amendment with Garber so that we can relocate the booster pump station as it is currently designed south on Perkins Highway 177 to a new space that, well, let me get to it here on it. So essentially, the easement space that we were originally putting the booster pump station on is an easement provided by Rural Water District Number 3. At this time, we finished design, we put it out for bid. However, because we've been unable to get to an agreement with District 3, for the sake of time to try and get this project completed by next summer, by the next high demand season for water, we've identified a new location similar in the same area and location to or area of town to shift this to. So we want to pick it up, slide it down. To do that, we're going to need a little more funding to do some redesign on the site work. So tonight I'm looking for the trustees' authorization to amend the contract with Garber to redesign at the site at the new location along Perkins Road. The key things that we're going to need is site surveying again, design, check out some utilities, make sure it works, do a final hydraulic check, and we'll be ready to move forward. So my intent is to get this thing back out to bid by the end of September or 1st of October so we can stay on schedule.
That's good. The second site is functionally as good,
Yes.
so there won't be any degradation of what we're planning on getting done with it.
No, sir.
Can-
We have done a feasibility, kind of a proof of concept, a hydraulic analysis to make sure it still hydraulically meets the requirements.
But how much extra are we going to have to spend to go to this other site?
Well, we're looking at tonight, I'm requesting $99,000. That's on the design side. However, the payoff on this new site, at the old site we had to put, the construction was going to require 2 drives coming right off Highway 177. At the new site, there's existing drives. So we are minimizing some level of effort when it comes to site work and putting in these drives. So the pumps in the facility are staying the same. Based on hydraulic analysis, nothing should change there with the facility. All that's going to change is doing new site work. So we'll pick it up, might rotate at 90 degrees, drop it down on the new location. So.
Thank you.
I do not have any problem with relocation, and so that's fine. And we're building the pump stations. City of Stillwater is,
Yes, sir.
are under contract.
Yes, sir.
I'm concerned, as much problem as we have in getting the pump station built over the past 5 years, are we going to be able to hook into that line that's going to the tower? That worries me more than anything. Won't do any good to build a pump station if we can't work that contract out.
Yeah, that
Dan Blankenship, SUA Director. Where the pump station will be connected will be to our line. In order for the tower to be filled by this pump station, it will have to, the water will have to travel through the RWD3 pipelines. And if they, for whatever reason, choose to shut that section of the pipeline down, we won't be able to fill the tower. But then again, they won't be able to fill the tower either, or use that section of pipeline. As part of the Southwest Stillwater Southwest Water Project, we have a pump station that will be built on Western Road and a pipeline that will go to the tower, and so we will be able to fill that with our own facilities once we've completed that project.
This just, you guys are working this through, not me, but
Right.
wouldn't we be better off to make sure we got a contract to pump that water before we spend all the money and all the surveying to build a pump station?
We have we've spent a tremendous amount of effort trying to work through issues, and that would be preferable to do. However, we feel that at this point in time there is some risk, but we don't feel that that's significant risk because it's mutually beneficial. But there is some risk. There's certainly some risk. And it would be preferable to have the agreements in place, but we don't, and we feel like it's more beneficial to the community to move forward with the risk so that we can have the ability to fill the tower prior to next summer.
I just don't want it to be a monument of ignorance.
I
Neither
think
do
it'd
we.
be an even bigger monument of ignorance if we did get the water and then we didn't have a way to build the tower.
Well, no, that's not the issue. These guys know for 5 years we've been trying to work out a contract with District 3 for the pump station. And after 5 years, now we're going to build the pump station. But if we don't have the pipe to put it through, there's some history there, and I won't go into this. But it does concern me seriously.
And there's some legitimate risk involved in moving forward. Yes, but we feel that there.
And I understand some degree of that. I think you go back. I don't know how to say this, but I don't think Rural Water District 3 has ever said, no, you can't use the line unless you sign an agreement. They've never said that. They've always have said, it's always been our assumed intent that everybody uses the line to fill the tower. Now, I know have been discussing other terms and conditions, and those negotiations can continue, but relocating this pump just kind of eliminates some of those discussions and gets the pump resolved. I can't speak for them, but again, they've never said, no, we don't intend to let you use the line. They've never said that. So we're all operating under the assumption that the line is to their interest and our interest to be used. And so therefore, that's why we believe there's a minimal risk.
And under this scenario, we would actually purchase the property in which the pump station would sit on, so we would have full control of that.
My issue is not the pump station.
Yeah, understood.
Have we asked them if we can use it?
Yes, we have formally. We have presented, we have had a number of conversations with them about the contract. As Trustee Hopkins indicated, this has an extensive history, and in fact, I think the original agreement on the pump station was circa 2008.
What did they say? Have they said yes or no?
They did not take any opposition to that part of the agreement.
Is that what Dan was saying a minute ago? About that you don't think they
Yeah,
would
I
oppose?
don't recall them ever saying, no, you can't use the line. There's been questions about other issues in the future, about connecting to the line, they're making other connections, or who's responsible for the easement. There's been a lot of things that are still in discussion, but as far as the use of the line, I think it's always been assumed we can use the line. Again, because it's to their advantage as much as ours.
would, for background on this, would going back and reading that original agreement on building the water tower, doesn't that kind of form the basis for this whole thing?
Yeah, there's actually two agreements. There's the water tower agreement and then the pump station agreement. In the water tower agreement, was signed about, I think, maybe 6 months before the pump station agreement, so it's circa 2007, 2008. Obligated the SUA to build the tower with a reimbursement of a portion of those costs from Rural Water District Number 3. And then the pump station agreement obligated District 3 to design and build the pump station, and then we would reimburse them for those costs.
And for everyone to make sure I understand it, we're talking water tower on 56th and Western.
Yes, sir.
And the pump station is to get the water from our treatment plant, push it out that way to make sure it gets out there with enough pressure to get the tower full.
Yes.
Okay.
It won't take it directly from the treatment plant, but after it comes down to the south part of town, we need it to be able to get up on the top of the hill where that tower sits.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And so we had these two agreements that were concerning these two critical elements of this portion of our water system, and it benefits both city and rural water 3.
Yes, it is mutually beneficial.
And there were mutual costs being contributed from both sides.
Yes.
Mutual, not equal.
Correct.
And so really what we're doing here is we've modified those agreements since the original one.
There was a revision to the pump station agreement a couple months after it was approved, but there have been no further revisions. We have been in talks with District 3 to revise or update those agreements. In fact, we thought we had those ready. In fact, had them on an agenda probably about a year ago, and did not happen. So, but we've been unable to get full agreement on the amendments.
And so really one of these amendments was they were responsible for obtaining the easement for the pump station.
In the original agreement, they were responsible for obtaining the easement, and they did obtain the easement.
And then they were responsible for designing, building, pump station, and then we reimbursed them for the costs.
Yes, sir.
But since that original agreement and since they obtained the easement for the pump station, there's been a change to the agreement which then said, we'll design and build.
We had a proposed amendment to say that.
Okay.
So the agreement that's in place today is the one that says that they will design and build.
Which is why they have the easement, which is what we wanted to build on.
Right, and they would have under that agreement transferred the easement to us.
So the gist of the issue that we're dealing with right now really is right to build on the property. And they have an easement to build on that
Yes.
site. We do not.
That's correct.
But we're responsible for the building of this pump station.
We're taking the responsibility.
Okay, we're taking the responsibility.
We're taking the responsibility to, I guess, to control our own destiny.
They have not agreed to assign the easement to us for that site.
In the original agreement, it said that they would assign that easement to us after the pump station was completed.
Okay, so now, tell me if I'm being too simple, please.
Okay.
We now are gonna go spend $100,000 to do the preliminary work for this new location.
Now, the $100,000 will get us to the point where we can go to bid.
Okay.
Yeah, with all the preliminary work has really been done. This is basically amending the plans to go to the new location.
Does this $100,000-ish figure that we're talking about tonight include the purchase price for this
No,
property?
sir. No, sir, it does not. So there'll be additional costs on top of that.
And this is because we can't reach an agreement on giving us the easement so we can build.
It's because we cannot reach an agreement with.
Why would we have to buy the property?
Well, we're gonna buy something, either
Or
easement
buy an
or the fee simple dirt to own. It's gonna cost us one way or the other,
And that can be transferred for $1.
theoretically.
Could be if the property owner were willing, but in this case, I mean, the property owner has expressed a willingness to work with us, but I think that he expects some sort of return on his property. He will not really be able to use it for anything once we put a pump station on that particular parcel of land.
He'll get water.
Yes?
What's the cost if we don't do this?
The cost if we don't do this. The cost, that's a good question. The cost is that we don't fill the tower until we complete the southwest water improvements. And that includes the transmission pipeline down Western and the pump station. And as far as the timing for that, Eric, do you know, or Bill, do you know off the top of your head approximately what we're looking at?
The overall program's a 3-year program for design and construction of the Southwest Zone projects, of which Mr. Blank's discussing is Western's pump station and pipe infrastructure is a part of. We're just next week or Friday this week issuing notice to proceed, so we have not gotten to that point of planning and programming each specific work item to that. So this time, I don't know, but I can say the big vision is an end state we have is 3 years.
Somewhere
Big
in
plus.
2 to 3 year delay in being able to fill the tower.
Yeah.
Would be rough, I mean, I'm not holding anybody to that, but that's roughly the cost.
So we're buying ourselves 3 years.
The benefit here is using
Approximately.
existing
But am I correct,
infrastructure.
but there's water in the tower now, though?
There is water in the tower, yes. There is water in the tower. The district built a small pump station on South Perkins, and it enables them to put water in the tower. And there is water in the tower, and there has been water in the tower since they built that pump station.
But it's not strong enough to keep it full if.
No,
When we get our-
if we were to connect, no, it could not come close to keeping it at full to meet the full demands.
So, and maybe again, and I don't want to dig this hole any deeper, but am I understanding correctly, functionally, if we build this pump here tomorrow, we start pumping water through it, or we're waiting for someone else to put water to it so we can pump it? If that makes any sense.
Yeah, when we build this pump station, then we can fill the tower and then functionally use the water in the tower.
And I don't know what we're waiting on.
That's presumably we also build Western
yeah.
water.
Western water line.
Right,
Not
right,
quite
and
that
that's,
simple.
and that's,
Not
and
quite
that's
that simple.
concurrent, that's
That's
concurrent with this.
Yeah, well, that's the plan.
Right.
We're
So
intending to do that.
we build the pump, they have the line. In my mind, that makes us partners, but maybe I'm missing a great big part of the equation here. Or maybe
Pump would
very
enable
small.
us to keep the tank full to supply both our needs to the southwest, the part that we can use, and rural District 3's needs as well, and they won't have to continue with their temporary pump.
Right, in
Well,
fact,
they-
their pump station would be disconnected when this pump station came online.
So they could save that operating expense on their end.
Well, and just part of the big picture, just so we're all seeing big picture, just, we sell them their water, don't we?
We sell them some of their water. They are served by wells, and so we have 2 connection points to their system at this time, one on Southwestern Road and this one on South Perkins Road. I can't tell you percentage-wise, but I think that the majority of their water is served by their current wells.
Okay. Any other questions?
We're looking for a motion on this item.
All right, we don't have any other questions.
Not that I can think of.
So I guess I kind of have one to sum it up. Well, this was not our original plan, and this was not our original idea to go this route. What your report is telling me is this is in your opinion, the best alternative for us to get water into that tower as part of our overall big plan. Am I reading that
At this,
correctly?
yes, sir. At this point in time, if we want to try to fill that tower before we complete the improvements on the southwest water project, then this is our best option.
And this is what we discussed when we were, was it Guernsey that made the presentation of our
Yes.
overall plan? The only thing that's changing here is the easement site.
Right, the location of the pump
I
station.
mean, the pump station
That's
site.
the only change. Yes, sir.
Well, assuming that I have all the information then, Mr. Mayor, or trustee Bartley, if you're looking for a motion, I would make a motion to approve unless a trustee would feel a need to table it pending more information, but I would make a motion to approve.
I would second.
We have a motion and a second to approve staff's recommendation. So,
Yes, sir.
Motion must-
Yes, sir. Unless there's anything I needed to add or something, emergency clause or something.
All right, we do have a motion and a second to approve staff's recommendation on this item. Any further questions or discussion?
Not at this time, sir.
Well, let's vote.
Very good. Thank you.
That's approved 5-0. And that looks like all the fun on the Stillwater Utility Authority's agenda also. Is there a motion to adjourn Utility Authority?
I would move we adjourn the meeting, sir.
We have a motion and a second. And passes 5-0. We are adjourned.
Good job.